Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this new webinar. I see people streaming in. So great to see you. We paused over the summer for good reasons, for one of which we launched the Rental Scale Up podcast. If you don't know about that, we have a podcast. You can find us, Rental Scale Up. That's what it's called. It's on Apple, YouTube, and Spotify. So today is one of our live events, the first one in this new season, if I shall say. And we're going to be talking about Airbnb, more precisely on how to make your properties more visible on Airbnb. It's just me talking. We have two great people here today who are property managers, and we share with you what they do at a company. All right. So without further ado, there's 85 of you already. So let me just I got like 5 slides, not me, just 5 slides. As usual, I would probably be struggling showing those slides, but let's go through a few slides to introduce the topic, and we'll immediately get talking with our guests. All right. And thank you for showing up on time, everyone. Really appreciate that. 90 of you. Fantastic. All right. All right. All right. So I hope you can see my screen. I think I need to hit present. That'll be look nicer. And there we go. All right. So the topic is from invisible to irresistible listings, if I can say that. So strategies for Airbnb success in 2025. If you haven't met me before, maybe online in person, I'm Thibault. I'm the founder of Rental Scale Up. So Rental Scale Up, what we do, three things. We talk about all things Airbnb, booking, verbal, what the big OTAs are up to. Second thing, we share market data, the US and Europe. Third thing we do, we talk about new technology. And now for the last 2 years, proudly, we've been part of Price Labs. Very happy to be also part of Price Labs. All right. And we have a free newsletter every week. Just subscribe to it if you want to. So let me quickly show you that slide and then the agenda. And each of our speakers actually will introduce themselves in detail. But we have Adam Nedved from Prague, co-founder of Blaha, pronounce it well, Blahobiti, right, in Prague Days. And we also have Sean Lundvith, who's a president, founder of Property Valet and CEO at Seasonal Properties. And each of them will introduce themselves and tell you more about their markets. But they'll tell us, after introducing themselves, why they need to differentiate themselves in the markets. Why not just go and list why you need to be different? After all, maybe the Airbnb does good work attracting people. So why be different? Why put some effort here? Then I will crack up an Airbnb to talk about a few new visibility things you may have noticed, from the guest favorite to the top 10% and bottom 10% labels. I hope you guys don't have any properties in the bottom 10%, because that's Airbnb shows that to travelers. You probably don't want to end up there. And then Adam and Sean will talk about what they do again to optimize their listings on Airbnb differently from Vrbo and Booking.com, for example. And then we talk about doing this at scale, because most of you today are property managers with plenty of properties. So it's good to, it's great to optimize one listing, but how do you do this with 50, 100, 200 listings? All right, so I think that was it. You see, not so many slides. Let me go back to Zoom and stop sharing. And let's start with Sean. Sean, hello, how are you? And tell us more about yourself.
I am great, Thibault, and really appreciate you guys having us here. I think what you're doing is wonderful. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and chat with you guys. And like you said, I'm the chairman and founder of Property Valet, CEO of Seasonal Properties. We operate out of the Blue Mountains here in Ontario, Canada, also Mount Tremblant, Quebec. And we're just in the last stages before October 1st. We open up our office in Revelstoke. So we got 7 days for that. And we're onboarding properties out there as I speak. So we specialize in short-term rentals at Property Valet, mostly on the vacation, leisure side. One of the three things that is what happens is we have mountains here in Canada, and we look for places where you can enjoy yourself and have a good time. And we've captured the rental market around those. And that's a bit about me, and looking forward to getting into this.
Thank you so much, Sean, for being here today, and that's that you're gonna be our North American perspective on this. And I'm turning to Europe now, and with Adam. Adam, how are you today? And let us know more about you.
Thank you, Thibault. Thank you for having me. I'm fine. My name is Adam. I'm the co-founder of Prague Days and Blahovity. We are a property management company based in Prague. We have currently just under 200 apartments under our management. We position ourselves in the premium side of the market, the urban market, which is very competitive. What sets us apart is that we are very tech-based, tech-enabled company. We build our own tech stack. We build our own proprietary PMS, our own booking engine, even our own revenue management algorithms. So we do everything ourselves, and we aim to scale our operations at even higher scale using our own processes and our own solutions. So that's pretty much it. We were founded in 2016, but as I always say, we're still at the very beginning of our journey.
Thank you, Adam, and also some housekeeping which is needed. Obviously, let us know as well in the chat, where you are from and how many properties you have. So it's going to help maybe Sean and Adam as well. Maybe, see friends in the chat here. Also, just to adapt, make sure we can talk to you and understand where you're from, what your needs are. And Yuvika is here. As you may know, Yuvika is the other face of Rental Scale Up, and she's behind the scene in front of the camera, but today you're behind the scenes, Yuvika. And she's in the chat right now. She's been sharing the contacts of our speakers. So if you have questions, please use the chat. Let us know. I will look at the questions as we're going. So again, we're going to want to make it interactive. Want to make sure Sean and Adam are also talking with you. So use the chat and get started. For example, let us know where you are and how many properties you have. All right. So first question, and some quizzes or polls are going to pop up. Again, that's helping us understand where you are, what you do. We're not collecting data here, just helping us. So I'm going to start back with you, Sean. So what's the need? Why do you need to differentiate your listings on Airbnb? As I said, Airbnb is a big marketing machine. They just basically say, put your listing out there. Why do you feel the need of differentiating your listings?
That is a great question, and I do want to just echo your thoughts there, and engagement with everyone on here, because I think we have a huge community out there, all working hard to represent our properties, and the more we can be interactive on this and answer questions that you may have, the better. So Airbnb, the way we optimize on Airbnb, we focus on high quality photos, clear descriptions, and guest reviews. And it's very experience focused listings. They perform better, and we really emphasize local experiences on Airbnb. And you just always got to optimize to be the best and put your best foot forward.
And when you say experience, is because I'm guessing, white guess, that for example, skiing is very important. That's why you're going to be showing, for example, in the photos, or that's where you're going here.
Oh, absolutely. We want people to come to our properties and enjoy what they're doing. And sometimes people aren't sure what to do. So we make sure whether they could be coming to hike or they'd be coming to bike. And we want to make sure that our listings represent that they can know that they're coming and they're going to get that experience out of the property. And the more you can focus on that through your listings, not just on Airbnb, but VRBO, Booking.com, all of the booking platforms, even your own, is better for you to engage and ensure that the guests have great experiences. And the better you can optimize that on Airbnb, the better you're going to deliver a great experience to the guests, and that will see through on reviews. When you get those from your guests, and that will just that in itself will assist in optimizing your Airbnb listings. So there's plenty of ways to do it, but I think if you can be guest centric and guest focused, that will translate through to good reviews, good optimization, and a great experience.
Fantastic. And again, we'll go further down in the tactics later, but that's just again just to paint a good picture. It's a really good picture. How about Prague? And I think Adam, you starting saying that you're pretty high end, pretty premium, right? So is it one of the reasons why you need to differentiate your listings?
Yeah, definitely, exactly. I mean, there are two main reasons. For the first one is we are on a very competitive urban market. That means our homeowners, they're looking always, for the alternatives. In Prague, at the moment, there is a huge shortage of apartments and huge shortage of available rentals in the city. So the rents are always growing higher and higher. That means, everybody's always comparing the alternatives, and we have to really be performing to deliver the expected performance to our homeowners. So that's one reason. The other reason is we position ourselves as a premium service. That means that we always have to deliver, flawless guest experience to our guests, and to be able to do that, to sustain that, to be able to pay a really good professional team, we need to make sure that we always perform, that we always are able to generate the highest ref bands for our market. So that means to be able to position ourselves with respect to the pricing, to be above the market level, we have to make sure that we always deliver the performance on this market.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. And what I really like as well, because with Sean, basically, we're covering a lot, I'm guessing, the more vacation rental markets, and you're definitely more urban. That's also good as well. And we maybe thinking down the lane here today, whether you guys think there's anything different to do here, and how competitive Prague is. I like what you said as well, that the homeowners are putting a lot of pressure on you to be, to show a lot of, productivity, like they can get money in. That's very interesting, right? As well, like differentiation, to be a successful property manager. That, I guess, there must be a lot of it's echoing a lot of people here. Sean, do you want to add something on it to this?
Yeah, no, I think Adam does a great job, on the technical side of things. And I just wanted to, one of my notes here that I didn't get across was when we optimize an Airbnb and other channels, we really want to ensure that those guests that come through those channels come through our doors through Airbnb or VRBO, walk out of our doors as property valet guests. And that's the biggest thing that we optimize for, and our goal is on all the booking platforms. And for the last 5 years, that's been a concentration, and it doesn't happen overnight. But we did, we went from 97%, 98% of our bookings on Airbnb, and the month of August we were at 56%, and our direct bookings are growing. So that is kind of spreading the mix through all the booking platforms and channels, and then using ours as a direct booking as well. So yeah, I just wanted to add that because I missed out on the first go around.
All right. Thanks again for painting the picture. Okay, I think it's important, before again we dive into the tactics, what to optimize, what is optimization for each of you. Because again, it's important to understand what you guys want to achieve, right? We heard, for example, from Adam, has a lot to do with, well, property owners, not just, or attracting the right guests, or conveying local experience, conveying a premium level. Indeed, that's the first thing we need to do when we want to optimize on Airbnb. Is like, what do we want to try to achieve? What's our business goal? So I'm going to crack open Airbnb for 5 minutes just to talk about the new visibility things we've seen on Airbnb. And then we'll be going back to you, Sean and Adam, to talk about, again, what do you do to optimize? And for example, how that's different from what you do on the other channels. Because I'm pretty sure it has to do with what we see here. So let me just make sure. All right. So, let me stop sharing for a moment. Sorry about that. Just want to crack open my usual Airbnb because I give you already the answer. That's not fun. That's not fun. All right. So how many of you, just in the chat maybe, right? How many of you have already seen, how many of you know what guest favorites is? Just like say no, answer yes or why. How many of you know what guest favorites are? Just in the chat if you want. Let me know. And yes, the recording will be shared. Yes, 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 no, yes.
Answer,
right.
Or just do you want to keep going, Thibault?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just preparing this while people are answering.
Okay.
I see a lot of you. I see some no's. Okay, let's crack it open. I was wanted to again making sure I was asking a question before showing the answer. I'm being a good teacher here. All right. So nowadays, when you go to Airbnb and do a search, you may have noticed that in the search results, you're going to see several properties as you did in the past, right? It used to be in the past here, you would have seen properties here with a label which was Superhost. And I'm guessing a lot of you are Superhosts. It's been quite some months now that Airbnb has replaced Superhost listings in the top ranking, default ranking. I just entered Edmonton for any week, one guess, right? No, nothing special, right? But you can see here, there's like over 1,000 places in Edmonton. Each of those are guest favorite, guest favorite, guest favorite, guest favorite, and Superhost. If I didn't know anything, I'm a traveler, I don't know anything about Superhost versus guest favorite. Just this kind of looks like Airbnb wants to push guest favorite more to me than Superhost. So if I trust Airbnb, it looks like guest favorite should be something I care about, I'm guessing, right? If I don't know. And again, if I go and now see the guest favorite property I had prepared for you, I hope you can see this one. So what's interesting, so here, this property is a guest favorite. So a guest favorite, it's not just a label in search, it's also on each property page, a bigger mention, which is your guest favorite. If I click on it, I see more, that it's, what's a guest favorite? Well, Airbnb tells me, right? Again, I don't know anything, like it's one of the most loved homes on Airbnb according to guests. It's just, what's interesting, and it's on property level, right? Superhost is on account level, guest favorites on listing level, and has to do with number of reviews, lots of different factors for success. And what's interesting as well is that Superhost, again, Superhost is still exists, but is on account level, right? So if you were to launch a new property, for example, a new property would benefit from your Superhost status, but it could not be a guest favorite, because to guest favorite, you need to have a number of stays, you need to have number of reviews existing, right? What you can see as well is that it's not only a guest favorite. On top of this, this host benefits from a highlight. And that's here. I'm not sure, maybe it's a bit small, but what it says is there's a trophy here, golden trophy, right? Top 1% of homes. So this home is one of the highest ranked based on ratings, reviews, and reliability, like globally, right? What's interesting that this guest favorite top homes, Superhost was calculated every quarter. Every quarter you would say, hey, congratulations, you're a Superhost this quarter, right? This guest favorite top home, top 1%, is calculated every day. Just to tell you how much this is increasing the pressure, right? Like Superhost, you're like, okay, I got a bad review. I got 2 more months to make it up and try to overall for a Superhost account, make sure we have good reviews and I can sort of save it. Here, you may lose your top 1% label from one day to another, or your guest favorite label from one day to another. This is what Airbnb is doing to increase the visibility of their better quality listings, I would say. But also, you can imagine with more and more listings on the platform, there's more than 7 million listings on the platform now, even more listings every day. It's also increasing somewhat the price competition here. Why? Because again, remember that when people review you, there's always a quality price factor, right? They do ask the guests, what is the quality versus price. So it does mean there's always a pressure on price here, not just on competing on quality. But something I want to show here, again, it's a question maybe in the chat, let us know, have you ever seen that, we've seen here the top 1%, which is, interesting. Has anybody seen the top 10% below 10% mention? If you have, let us know in the chat. What I mean here, again, I don't want to single out this person. Don't ask me why I pick Edmonton. I think probably because Sean was here. I had Canada in my mind, on my mind. So this person, if I don't see this label here, right? To see the label, you have to go to the reviews. Do you see this pop-up window on Zoom? I'm not sure. Let me know, because sometimes you don't see the model windows. You guys see it? So thumb up. Yeah. Okay. Here, look at this. So it's very small. I'm going to read this again. So their review score is 4.26. This home is in a bottom 10% of eligible listings based on ratings, reviews, reliability. So, carrots and sticks. We saw the carrot to 1%. That's the stick, right? The bottom 10%. So yes, it's hidden. It's out. It's there. So where is it hidden in a way? So it's not. Guests may see it if they, like me, go deep dive and see it, but it's actually something they're going to send to the host and tell them, hey, you part of this, is to create pressure so that people can fix stuff. So these are just examples of how things are new. And obviously, something that you guys know as well is that if I go to the homepage of Airbnb nowadays, we all know that things are now categorized by categories, that you don't have a hand on the categories. Basically, usually it's Airbnb deciding for you where your listing will end up based on the content, your reviews, even the photos. If your photos have great pools and comments talk about great pools, and you show up in amazing pools. But there's not much. And you can see, by the way, that Airbnb is not pushing listings these days. Host stays, they're pushing a lot of experiences or place to stay for one night with some kind of celebrity. Yeah, that's interesting on where they're going, but not for us today. Because you have unless you do a deal with Airbnb, basically with PR, that you can land on this homepage as possible. But let's say it's maybe not given to any of us. But if anybody has landed there, let us know in the chat, and I stop sharing. All right. So I hope it was clear. We just saw again. There's been without doubt, there's been big changes on how you show up on Airbnb, how your listings show up. So let's get started maybe this time with Adam. So I just showed, okay, Airbnb has new things. Have you noticed any impact on you for yourself when you see what Airbnb is doing? And maybe your second question to that, does it make you do things differently on Airbnb versus Booking.com or Vrbo, or like, yeah, Airbnb is different, I do the same? How do you feel about this, Adam?
Yeah, we've definitely noticed, and I think it comes really handy that Airbnb is focusing on the guest experience side, and they've moved on to the listing level rather than the the whole profile level, because that makes it easier to show those extra homes as those that are in top 1%, which is easier than having the whole profile of many properties show up as one of the top profiles. I think what's essential here is that to drive the value for both for us, for our homeowners, we have to deliver an exceptional guest experience. So this is a way to differentiate the listings and the quality of the host based on the quality of the service that they provide to the guests. And this is something that we've been heavily working towards too. Be working at a scale, we are looking at creating processes that are error free, so we are able to generate the great experience at scale, an everyday basis. And I think it's basically the same for Airbnb, Booking.com, and every other platform, because from the platform point of view, Airbnb wants to offer to their guests a good experience. So they want to show, those experiences or those stays or those hosts and listings on their search results that are, very likely to generate a positive guest experience. And it's the same for every other platform. So in that regards, there's nothing new to us, and we don't specifically optimize for achieving a certain status. We optimize to achieve very stable, consistent, great guest experience on pretty much every property that we run. So it's not a difference between Airbnb and Booking in that regard. There is a difference in how we manage those profiles a little bit, but not generally in the way we approach the guest experience.
Can you, I don't know if you can share that, but how big, how important is Airbnb for you? And then maybe what's the consequence, maybe an exact number, but just to give us an idea. And then what does it mean in terms of the time your team spends on that, on Airbnb? And you just touch upon profiles. You mentioned profiles differently. Maybe can you explain that a bit?
Oh yeah, well for us, Airbnb has represented around 56% of the total gross booking values over the past 12 months. To put that in comparison, Booking.com has generated around 30%, and the rest has been direct B2C and B2B bookings that we generated. So Airbnb is our main source of guests and main source of income, let's say. So it has always been the main focus for us in terms of listing optimization and the techniques that we do. In short, what we do is we focus on two things. One is, as I mentioned earlier, we have our own custom revenue management algorithm. We're able to we're able to set ourselves an expected performance for our listings in terms of monetary value. And then retroactively, what we do is we compare, how much money we made compared to what we expected to make. So we are able to tell which of our properties overperform and underperform. So this tells us what are the most underperforming properties in our portfolio, and those are the properties that we focus more to improve them, to put them above the average level. So that's one thing that we do. And the second thing that we do on Airbnb is we focus on the conversion funnel. So we use the Airbnb Insights page that every host has under Airbnb. And what we do is we analyze for each of the listings. We analyze, how many views we get in the search results. We analyze how many views we get for the specific listings, and we analyze how many of those views are converted to bookings. So in the portfolio of 200 apartments or 200 listings, that we have a good comparison, and we know what to expect. So again, we are able to tell whether something's wrong or whether something's good. So this is something that we optimize on every 14 days. We have a meeting and we discuss what we can do to improve the specific performance of our properties.
Before going to Sean, going deep diving on something, so basically you go to the insights or opportunities performance tab in Airbnb, name changes all the time, and you go there and you download the data, or does your team look at the tool as is? How do you in practice do? And again, question on that. And we say optimize. What do you optimize for? Is it like the views, or are you going for the revenue? Because you hinted on these two. I'm very curious to hear what you look at.
Yeah, so we're looking at RevPAM as the main KPI that we have for our performance. So we're looking at the revenue that we generate per available night. And what we're looking first at is whether we overperform with regards to our expectations, or whether we underperform with regards to our expectations. So that tells us which of the apartments underperform. Now, when we single out the set of the apartments that underperform with respect to our expectations, we're asking the question why. So if we want to know why, we see that we have been listed on Airbnb, and we're not getting the amounts of bookings that we wanted. Well, what we do is we basically go to the Airbnb profile, we go to the Insights tab, and we look at the conversions, and we're looking whether the numbers that we are getting for our conversion funnel are comparable to the rest of the portfolio. So, for example, you might have a property that's not showing up in the search results. So if you're not showing in search results, there's no way you're going to get bookings, and then maybe a few reasons, mostly technicals for that. So maybe the property there's a syncing error, for example, with your channel manager, and you don't have any availability. So that's the reason why you're not showing up. And this is, a way you can find out. There might be a technical issue with Airbnb. We had those in the past. So we had a perfectly fine profile, which would not show up in the search results under any circumstance. So if that happens, what we do is that we start a new profile, because it's very hard fixing those technical issues with Airbnb directly. So when we're sure that it should show up and it doesn't, we would just restart it. Then, if you show up in the search results and you're not getting, your listing views, so that means that people don't click on the result. There might be something wrong with your profile photo. There might be something wrong with your pricing strategy. You might not be competitive with regards to your pricing. So we look at that. And if people click on the apartment, but they do not book it, then again, there might be an issue with the pricing. There might be issue with the listing description. There might be issue with the photos. We might look into detail and try to figure out the hypotheses of, about what to fix, what should we change, and in order to improve the performance for the future.
Thanks for sharing. And I see a question from Gracie about troubleshooting when you've optimized stuff, and we'll take that question and we'll probably come back to you because it may resonate what you said. But I'm curious to hear from Sean here. Sean, again, and maybe in this order, but what does optimization mean in your case? What you guys are trying to optimize for, and what you do on Airbnb, is that different from what you do on other channels or even on your own booking channel?
Yeah, so the answer is yes. We do optimize differently across all our listing channels. And kind of to frame this, the VRBO, Booking.com, Airbnb, but we're also, we're on Expedia, we're on the Marriott, we're on Google as well. And that kind of, I think it adds up to 17 or 18 different platforms that our properties are exposed to. And that's in conjunction with our direct, propertyvalet.ca booking site. And then kind of diving into the three that we've listed here, Airbnb, VRBO, and Booking.com. On Booking.com, it's more of a transactional booking. Competitive pricing, instant bookings mattered the most. VRBO is more family-friendly focused. So we optimize for that, plain and simple. And then Airbnb, local experiences. And that's how we optimize differently on those booking platforms. And we try to do that the best, whether it be Google, Marriott, Booking.com, and then propertyvalet.ca. So we look at them all as just, like I said in the beginning, a door into the Property Valet world. They come in, and we make sure that they enjoy their time with us, and that's how we get them to us, here in Canada, in the mountains. And once they get here, they're with us. We'll take good care of them, and we want them to leave happy people.
So deep diving again, just like we did with Adam here, diving with you, Sean. So Vrbo, obviously, you say like there families, groups, longer stays. So we do things different. When you say we optimize, then on Airbnb, what do you have in mind here? Are you talking about the photos, the description, the pricing, or just again to give inspiration to people, like what steps they're taking, what they could be testing?
Yeah, exactly. When we talk about experiences, we've partnered with, private chefs that can come for a bachelorette party and do a fine dining experience for the wives, or the wives to be, or a sommelier coming in and ensuring they, maybe they, we partner with, vineyards up here. and we want those experiences to be rich in Airbnb, because that's what we're optimizing for, that local experience. And I think Airbnb does a good job at that. You know, the Airbnb wants you to go and stay in properties where people are living or cohabitating, right? So that in itself, if you're co-hosting, you need to give a good experience. So, you know, I hope that answers it a bit for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have a question here, and I didn't touch upon that. Someone is asking why you said that Booking.com is transactional. I guess why, but I'd love to hear in your own words. Why is the Airbnb guest more? I think it's a guest is more transactional
Yeah.
towards the
Well, I
property,
mean,
probably.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I draw on my own experiences a lot with our company and how we operate. Even if I've been driving down the I-75 and have to get a hotel, I go to booking.com because I can do it immediately. I can go on there, I can find the best hotel in that area, and I can book it on my mobile app. You know, it's very transactional, and that's what I mean by that.
A question for both of you. Sean, I know that as you said, right, probably you want people to maybe book on Airbnb first, but then you want to turn them into maybe loyal guests or to think of you when they return, right?
Yeah.
So your direct booking channel is important. And Adam, I'm not sure about yours, but because we got in the questions in Q&A, a lot of questions, people asking about the direct booking website. And one question, for example, is, so how important is it for you, you know, Airbnb versus this? Are you using the billboard effect? Would I mean like, hey, I make sure I'm advertising Airbnb so people can see me, but they can see my name as a company and hope they can find me somewhere. And also, it's in the same topic, Airbnb versus direct. There's questions around markup. Are you also optimizing in a way that you are cheaper when booking direct versus when a guest will end up booking on Airbnb and has to pay, you know, the service fee and your price. So again, do you have a book direct strategy here, and you optimize differently and to use the price to, you know, drive people direct? Maybe each of you, which one of you wants to get started on this?
Adam, I'm good. If you want to go, whatever works, pal.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, okay, I'll start. Yeah, well, direct bookings are very important, obviously, for us. We have, well, two different strategies, let's say. Firstly, we actually started B2B direct booking partnerships. This is something that we've done before launching our own direct booking engine. So, well, there's plenty of business guests coming to Prague. Prague is a very favorite destination for film shootings. So there's a lot of business to work with, and well, the business world is still learning about, you know, the extended stays in apartments. Is something they haven't done before. They were used to buying hotel accommodation. It used to, you know, accommodation for business stay. It always used to be treated as a commodity, with the old, you know, systems used for procurement. But more and more people, when they're traveling for longer stays, they don't want to stay in hotels. It's the same experience that I have. If I stay somewhere for 1 or 2 nights, I stay in a hotel. If I stay for longer, I want to stay in an apartment. If I were to travel for work and stay there for, you know, 2 months, I definitely wouldn't like to stay in a hotel. So this is something that we're working on. We have a lot of direct partnerships here, and for the last year, we've generated around 12% of our gross booking value through these partnerships. And then we also started our own direct booking engine, Pragues.com, which we started, I think, 2 years ago. And we've been developing it slowly since then. In the urban environment, in the urban markets, it's very competitive, and it's very hard to compete with Airbnb and bookings and with the platforms online with regards to PPCs and online marketing. So that's almost impossible. But of course, it serves as well in regards to generating the returning guests, something that Sean has touched upon. So this is something that we are doing. If you stay with us, we want you to return and stay with us again through our own direct channel. Our pricing is very similar on Airbnb and PragueDays.com. It's not that different, although it's not the same, but it's very different. It's very similar. The difference is that if you stay with us, we give you a discount code. So we try to give you an incentive to rebook and book again, or to give the discount code to one of your friends and relatives if they want to visit us. So you might end up getting a better deal staying with us using those discount codes.
All right, so you don't necessarily mark up the prices on Airbnb compared with this, or if you add the Airbnb service fee, is overall is your price the same as direct, or how you see what is?
Yeah, from the guest perspective, it's as I said, very similar. I mean, there are different components to the pricing on Airbnb and our direct engine, so it's not the same. But it's very similar. I think it's a little cheaper on our direct booking engine, but the difference is not huge. But we usually would give, let's say, 10% discount code if you are already our guests. So if you book again, you might save 10% on the accommodation price.
Sean, I have another question coming up, but Sean, do you have anything to add on this one?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Right.
the main thing I will add is that we want all of our guests, whether they're repeat or not, to book wherever they feel the most comfortable. If they want to book on Airbnb again and still come back and stay with us, we're happy. We're still happy they're coming to stay with us. Booking.com, you may have a 10th night free because you stayed 9 nights and you enjoyed the Booking.com platform for the past year, and you have a reward for a free night stay. Well, then book on Booking.com. We have discount codes that we send out, whether it be the spring or there's a triathlon happening, Tough Mudder, or ski season starting. If you book directly with us, that's part of our marketing regime, and that assists us obviously with our direct bookings, and we just hope that when people are coming back, they feel comfortable enough to book with us directly, knowing they're going to get the same quality service that they got last time, and comfortable enough to come and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to book directly with you. I had a great time. I enjoy, being loyal to you and whatnot. And that's what we fight for every day.
Okay. So I have 2 questions coming up. The first one will be, how do you launch properties nowadays that, as I said, used to be if you were launching a property, well, still the case. The property is, benefits from your Superhost account if your account is Superhost. But now you have to be a guest favorite to actually show up higher in the results. So how do you get started to get fast this guest favorite badge, or let's say to get, as usual, right, high reviews fast, I'm guessing. And that's gonna be our first one. And coming up, it's more about, again, optimizing for listing, description, testing. I will be asking you down the line what you do differently to test whether you have the right things. But again, first question, again, who wants to pick this one up first? Is like, how nowadays do you do things differently? To launch a property fast. That's the key to success here?
I'll go, Adam. Yeah, as far as onboarding, we take great care and detail on this, and nothing happens overnight. Properties are an investment. They don't just you just pop them up and all of a sudden they're hitting all their KPIs and their cap rates that an investor wants to see. So we take great care in the onboarding. And we have a team that does that for all of our properties. I would say there's probably 5 or 6 different touch points throughout our organization as we onboard a property, whether it be the photographer, copywriters, our marketing team, our pricing optimization, and so on. So that's how we onboard the properties. And I think Adam will give some really good insight into the pricing dynamics of that and whatnot, and complement that. But yeah, nothing happens overnight. It starts with finding the right property, and then ensuring that that you take the great care and detail on the onboarding side of it. Because if you do it quick and hastily, it shows, and then you will not be getting bookings, and you'll be taking the property down, and you'll be doing it all over again. And that's what I got for you there.
Thank you, Sean. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I'm 100% I agree with you, Sean. Well, finding the right homeowner fit, that's where it starts with us, because we have many leads, and contrary to what you might think, but most of the times we say no to the homeowners because we don't think that we are the right kind of service for them, and we are not what they're looking for, because this is a long-term hospitality business, and this is first and foremost for us. It takes a while to build up the reputation and to generate the revenue and generate the profits, and we are very much capable of doing that. But it takes an initial investment, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of time. So onboarding process, explaining everything that we do to our homeowners, then launching of the property. We have, yeah, as Sean said, many touch points. We have a team dedicated to that. We have experts on the copywriting, photography, guest experience. We want to make sure that our first guest will be 100% happy and with the guest experience. We don't want to, find out the little defects and opportunities to improvement after the guests start staying in our apartments. So this is very much important. We don't do anything differently, to gain those first reviews. So we wouldn't give you, any kind of gifts. We wouldn't give you a bottle of wine, to make sure that we bribe you a little in order to get the best review for the first stays. We don't do that. We don't do anything differently. For us, it's important that our processes generate the best possible guest experience. So if we know that there has been a mistake, we want to make sure that first and foremost, we fix the process to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And with regards to the pricing, well, our own revenue management algorithm, it works in a way that if a property is not occupied, we don't have many stays in the calendar, it would drive the prices down. So when we start with a new listing, it's in the position of a listing that hasn't been very successful in generating bookings. That means the prices are driven down in a kind of a discount mode. So in that way, we generate, the first few bookings fast. We generate those first few bookings with a short lead time. So we want to make sure that we get those reviews in as soon as possible. We want to generate the first few reviews in the first days to make sure that we are off to a good start. And yeah, if we deliver that, if we get great guest reviews from the first few bookings, then I know that we launched successfully, and we can continue from that.
And you talked about copywriters or photos. So how do you know they're doing a good job, or do you do tests? How do you know this, that it's the right thing to do, and how things change? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a perfect response for that. For us, I think it's very, me personally, I think it's very difficult to make, A/B tests on Airbnb. And the reason is there's so many variables that you cannot control for. You're not really able to do successful experiments, because even though you would create an experiment on Airbnb and you would have to, listings that would be the same, and you write a different copy for one and the other, there's so many other factors that could influence the performance, that even though you have different results for one or the other, you cannot for sure tell that the reason that there's a difference in the performance is the copy. So we want to make sure that we write, for example, with the copy, we want to make sure that, you know, we write the text that is as good as we think from the, you know, marketing standpoint. So we want to make sure that we identify our target audience and that we speak to them and that we are clear in our language, and we have all those. It's important to, you know, include all those keywords in the listing description. So we want to make sure that we do that, but I cannot tell whether we are really good at it, and I cannot A/B test that. I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just chime in really quickly here. Thibault, is it's following best practices and then trusting the team around you, right? Just like Adam, I have great people around me and a good marketing team that you give the keys over to them, and they are the ones doing and studying the best copywriting tactics and whatnot and best practices to ensure that our listings are spot on when they go to market.
Before I go to the Q&A for both of you, is there anything specific about doing this at scale, right? I was really looking at people attending. Some people have 1,000 listings. Do you have guys have any, you know, we talk about things. I think Sean, Adam, I think you talked about the fact that what you do with analytics really fast, you want to basically see which ones are underperforming. Again, maybe you tell us under which metrics, and we'll focus on those first. Right? This is how you do things at scale. You try to find which one you should be working on first.
Oh yeah, and as I said, we always, you know, try to make sure that our processes are generating the best possible performance and this experience. So I think, you know, the main part of, you know, doing this at scale is making sure that you are generating, you know, from your processes, you're generating the right results. So with regards to the performance, our processes are built around, you know, the key metrics that we define, and around, you know, meeting and basically analyzing those metrics on a daily basis, and having weekly meetings, and you know, assessing the performance and making sure that we have some objective measures of our performance. And then the second part is having the processes to, you know, do the continuous improvement with regards to the individual listings, but also with regards to the processes themselves. So if we generate a bad result, we want to make sure that we know why we generated the bad result, and we know how to fix the process so that it doesn't happen again. This is something that we've been doing for 8 years, and I think that's the main, you know, thing about building a quality in hospitality at scale.
All right. If you're okay with that, I will jump now to a few questions. So again, we talked about markups earlier, and somebody was asking, you know, that basically they play around markups. Basically, the idea is like to be maybe more expensive on the OTAs, and they said we use 10 to 20. And what they saw that by being more expensive on Airbnb, I couldn't take that one. They've been more expensive on Airbnb. They've noticed that the impact was they didn't have a 5.0 score, perfect score on Airbnb anymore. They had 4.97 instead. And actually, I would say something. I think sometimes if I see this, I would say that they have a lower markup. They feel they have a lower, the grading lower on the whole value money. And I'm like, but I would say in a way, I think it's like if you have a calendar, if your calendar is full early on, you're probably not expensive enough, right? And I would say same thing for maybe for the value marker, value price. It's okay not to be perfect 5, because it means don't be a 1 out of 5, obviously, but it means you are not underpricing. Probably. So I know it's a fine dance, but I think we should not shoot always for perfect 5, especially on the price side, because that's what Airbnb wants. They want us to be the cheapest possible, but that may be not in interest of our businesses or our owners. I know, does that make sense to you, Sean, for example, or Adam?
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, Thibault. You know, just getting a bit more into the pricing. And we talk about, you know, whether you have 5, 10, 15 different booking OTAs, we just look at what they charge, and we build that in right across so that everyone is equal. You are paying the same. If it's $100, $102 on our site, maybe on booking.com, I'm not sure what the percentage points are, but maybe it's $108 there, or it's $112 on VRBO. So it's even throughout. So everyone's on a level playing ground, and then we extrapolate from there.
Tell me whether you've heard this or not, that basically the first photo you have on a listing will have a lot of weight on in which category you will end up. That basically the star photo, hero photo you pick, if you want to land in, I don't know, chalets or pools, really have that big feature you want to make sure Airbnb picks up. Is something you've heard? Is there urban legends? Have you seen this working? Any opinion here?
Well, I mean, if you just think of our geography here, we wouldn't put the first picture of a beach when it's the winter season and people are booking skiing, right? So you really got, yes, it's the first picture, can pictures say 1,000 words, but it's just the first step, right, into the booking journey. But you don't want to derail the potential booking by having a picture that doesn't represent the property that you're managing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. There's a question here. Somebody's asking, I showed the top 1% and bottom 10%. And somebody's asking, can I run a quick report? Maybe Adam, you know this because you spend your days, or your team does, in analytics. I've not seen such a report to know which one are top 1, bottom 10. I guess if you are big enough, you have an account manager at Airbnb who can put it up for you. That's how I would do it. Any advice on how to do this? Get this report?
Yeah, it's exactly like that. I don't think that you can pull that report, that specific report from Airbnb, but our account manager would send us a performance review update every month, I guess. So we would get that data. We also, what we do is we actually scrape this data of Airbnb. That means that we have an automated script that downloads this kind of data specific to our listing, so we can create this report ourselves, but I don't think it's readily available.
To finish on topic of optimizing again, the question. So again, we talk about optimizing, but let's do reverse underperforming. Can you give me like one or two, no, I'd say 2 or 3 metrics when you see a listing like this one is underperforming? Again, because there are questions here in a Q&A, people talking about the conversion funnel, but how do I know when things aren't working? Somebody's saying as well, what performance metrics is the panel? Are you guys in the panel looking at? So again, what metrics exactly are you looking at so that you can know that you have to get this better to optimize? Couple of examples.
Well, I
Yeah,
can say, I'll
go
just
ahead, John.
Adam, and then you can jump in. But ours is basically pricing, location, and reviews, and your score, your overall score. Those are the 3 metrics that I would say are top 3 in my mind. But take it away, Adam.
Well, yeah. What we look at is basically, well, we're doing it for profit, so we have our own internal measures of operating profit for each of the apartments. But it's much easier to compute the RevPAN. So I think that is something that is usually available through any kind of property management software, and this is something that we look at. And well, we want to drive strong revenue performance, and if we don't, then we have heuristics to try to figure out what is the reason. So yeah, I guess guest scores, that might be the first one. I think this is the most important driver. We might look at the revenue mix. We might look where's the revenue coming from, and is it whether it's as expected or not. We might look at the characteristics of the different bookings. So sometimes some of the apartments that we have longer bookings, some of them are shorter bookings. We want to make sure that this is as expected. And with regards to the platforms, well, we analyze the conversion funnel on Airbnb website. So we might look into that insights tab and want to make sure that we have the overall conversion, which is comparable or better than what expected. And with regards to Booking.com, you might as well you have, I think it's called Performance tab at Booking.com, and you can see your ranking, your search ranking there for the market, and you can compare yourself to your competitive set. So this is something that we do as well, but we use it as sort of heuristics to figure out why are we performing or overperforming, underperforming. What are the reasons behind that? It's not the goal itself.
Mm-hmm.
A quick question here. I can see it's like Rick is asking, where do you see the stats within Airbnb? I think it's just good airbnb.com/performance, and if you logged in into your Airbnb account, airbnb.com/performance, and you see all the stats that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that's a lot we covered today. Sean, Adam, if people want to reach out and know more about, I have a question about what you said or a question about the companies, what is the best way to reach out to you? First, Sean.
I would just say email, and then in the subject line, just write rental scale up seminar, and send me a direct email through there, and we can have a chat or trade some emails.
All right. So make sure, again, this is recorded, so make sure in the email people will get with the recording. To give
Sorry.
their
Sean at propertyvalet.ca, SEAN.
Perfect.
Thanks. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I'm happy with everyone who wants to connect LinkedIn. So you can find me using my name on LinkedIn. We can connect. You can write me a message there. I'll be happy to answer. You can also send me an email to adam@praguebase.com, and I'll be happy to answer as well.
Cool. Thank you so much for Sean and Adam for your time today, for preparing this call as well. Yuvika for setting this up, staying there as well behind the scenes. There's still more than 100 people with 2 minutes over time. So I guess it was interesting to you. Let us know how it was. Obviously, you get a recording. We'll turn this as well into a podcast episode and an article. So hopefully you have the time to read all this, and we try to give you the right notes to take action. As usual, thank you all, and I see you next month. Take care, everyone.
Thank you very much, Thibault. Thank you very much, Yuvika.
Yes.
See you, Sean.
Yeah. See you, Vika.